Anaconda is a reboot slash remake slash retelling of the old Anaconda movies that was starring J-Lo and Ice Cube. This one's starring Paul Rudd and Jack Black. These two are childhood friends who grew up with dreams of going into acting and filmmaking and working in Hollywood. Their all-time favorite movie growing up was Anaconda. They decided to take matters into their own hands. They set out into the Amazon with the goal of remaking Anaconda, rebooting it in a movie of their own image. However, once they get there though, they run into some big obstacles for themselves. The big one notably being a massive giant anaconda that's trying to kill them and their friends. When I first heard they were remaking Anaconda, I felt nothing. I have never seen the original Anaconda. That's not a movie that I grew up invested in. That's not one of those monster movies that really hooked me. I understand that it's following. I was just never a part of that following. So when I found out they were remaking it, I didn't really think anything of it. I'm just like, I mean, you know, Hollywood's just ran out of ideas, so they're gonna do this. But that is one thing that I will give this movie credit for, is the sort of meta humor that it does go for. I mean, this whole movie is based, I mean, it's a remake of Anaconda, and it's about a couple people trying to remake Anaconda. So it has a very meta style to itself. It doesn't take itself too seriously, which I do appreciate, because I know the spirit of Anaconda is you shouldn't take it too seriously. So as a result, the movie does poke a lot of fun at Hollywood, how they can't come up with their own ideas, they can't think of anything new, so the goal is just like, hey, that thing or that movie that people were interested in back in the day, hey, just relaunch it for a new generation. I do also appreciate how the movie does poke fun at like the process of making movies. People sit down, they discuss the story, they discuss certain scenes, you know, people maybe change certain things as the project's going on. They can't make up with the ending until the middle of shooting. They don't know how the movie's gonna wrap up. Or someone comes up with that brilliant idea and everyone's like, oh, that's genius. Oh, that fits so well thematically, you know. All the stuff where, you know, the people in Hollywood think they're smarter than everybody else in the world. The movie had some jokes like that that were chuckle-worthy, I'll give it that. And yeah, the chemistry between Paul Rudd and Jack Black, I mean, it's not non-existent, but that being said, is it like the greatest chemistry I've ever seen in a movie? No. It's a healthy amount of chemistry. Like, you couldn't convince me that these two are best friends in real life. However, I also wouldn't be convinced that they hate each other either. Like, one guy was the dreamer that never quite got his feet on the ground and really took off in a way that he wanted to. The other one gave it a shot. It hasn't really worked out for him. But they never forgot each other. They never got their friendship. And they grouped together to give this one real shot together. I can appreciate something like that. Everything else in this movie, though, well, I mean, it's an Anaconda remake. There's a whole lot of illogic that you have to just try to do your best to throw to the wayside. I mean, right out the gate, the idea that these guys want to go into the Amazon, which isn't exactly safe, to remake Anaconda is nuts. I mean, Jack Black has a wife and kid in this movie, and they have no problem whatsoever with him going all the way down there to shoot this movie. In fact, they encourage him to do so. It's like, I'm all for seeing, you know, a wife being supportive to her husband and everything like that, but you don't think she would stop and look at him for 1 second? It's like, look, what you're trying to do here is a little bit of a pipe dream, and going to somewhere that's not exactly safe, I would highly encourage you not to do this. But no, they're totally cool with him going to do that, trying to get out a loan to get a shit ton of money to have this made, and then, God forbid, this movie flops, and then you have to pay all that back. It's just, I don't know. No one really used a lot of logic in that scenario. Also, yeah, there's a couple more people in the friend group that are there to be comic relief, to add something to it, but did I ever care about these people to the same way I somewhat did Paul Rudd and Jack Black? No, I did not. I will say, at the same time, the movie's also trying to be a little bit more than it needs to be. I mean, the movie could have just been this simple, hey, 4 friends go to Amazon to remake a movie they love, and a giant actual anaconda is trying to kill them. Could have been as simple as that. But during that stretch, they run into a couple other people who are going through some sort of, you know, I don't even know what it was. Was it gold? I can't remember. Someone's trying to steal something from somebody, and they gotta stop the other person from doing that. It all gets tied up together with them, and they're in the movie for a portion of it, but I almost feel like that whole thing could have just been taken out entirely and nothing would have changed. Instead, we had to throw something in here because the silly little plot they had just wasn't enough. Also, there's another character that kind of joins the group at one point. This guy was just a complete and total cartoon. It's meant to be like a snake handler of sorts. He's the one who like brings them their original Anaconda to shoot the movie with, and things go really horribly wrong. But I don't know, the guy, I mean, I know he's there for laughs. He's there to just be this ridiculous snake handler of sorts, but I don't know, the guy was just way too overly silly. I mean, I know this movie's PG-13, so I feel like they're trying to, like, tread that line. It's like, yeah, it's PG-13, but we imagine families will go see a movie like this because it's like, you know, the right moderation of comedy and horror where it's gonna be funny, but it's not gonna scare the shit out of kids. So you feel like he was put in there for the kids. But yeah, he didn't work for me at all. And yeah, I gotta tell you, the Anaconda that's in this, I mean, I don't know what the budget for this movie was, but that thing, it was one of the more fake snakes you'll ever see in your life. Like, this thing was so adamantly green screen visual effects. It was kind of painful to look at. Especially when the last movie I saw was Avatar Fire and Ash, which is, you know, visual effects galore. So you go from that to something like this. It's a lot more apparent. And yeah, how's the scare factor? How's the thrills? It's ridiculous. The movie relies on a couple jump scares that'll maybe get you here and there, but nothing that's gonna be nightmare fuel, nothing that's gonna feel intense, like you know the snake is out there, you know it's coming after people, it's gonna get you on the edge of your seat, it's gonna have you, you know, sweating a little bit, you know, getting the hairs on your neck to stand up. There's absolutely none of that. When it could have played into a little bit more of the thrill factor, you feel like the movie took more of a comedic route towards that. And I feel like that hurt the movie. Again, I haven't seen the original Anaconda. Maybe that's how the original Anaconda handled it. But that's a problem I would have with that one too. It's like, when you have a chance to be a little more on edge and scary and intimidating, you should go for that. It's like the problem people have with Marvel movies. Like, there could be a really emotional moment going on and then someone makes a joke which ruins the whole thing. Well, in this case, a really thrilling moment could be happening, but people are just making jokes and being unserious about the whole thing. So as a result, the thrilling element of this movie, which you feel like should be a big part of it, feels completely wasted. Well, all in all, while I understand Anaconda is not a movie you should take seriously, it still kind of felt like just a waste of a remake. I can appreciate some of the meta humor that's in this movie, namely when it comes to poking fun at the making of movies and how people just will delve into the old library of movies to just make something for quick money. Paul Rudd and Jack Black were fine. I've seen them be better in movies. I've also seen them be worse. A lot of characters in this movie were really just shoehorned in here for the sake of adding something to the plot or adding something to the leading actors or trying to add comic relief, but none of it really worked. None of them were memorable. The visual effects in this movie are really not good. The thrilling element was completely squandered for pretty ineffective comedy. In the end, I guess you should maybe know who you are. Maybe if you're a diehard Anaconda fan, maybe you'll appreciate this more. At the same time, maybe if you're a diehard Anaconda fan, you will hate this movie more. I really don't know. I haven't seen that movie, so I don't know what to tell you. For me, as someone who's never experienced it, I can appreciate that they wanted to make a movie that people could generally have fun with around this Christmas season, but for me, it just couldn't hit home with me. Again, I know it's not a movie you should take seriously, so I'll be a little generous with my rating system here, and I will give Anaconda a 4 out of 10, which still only makes it background noise at the very best. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video, and as always, don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.